I have talked about the need for efficiencies, the need to make sure that you're not, haven't put your ARPA dollars entirely into your operating budget. And I don't know what the percentage is for the city rather, but it's a reasonably high percentage. And so that obviously causes problems. We tried not to do that at the state level. We also have, tight budgets, and, we'll continue to. We had a budget, we passed, and then going into FY21, it seemed clear that we need to make cuts at that point because, revenues were falling off a cliff, and we didn't have what ended up being the American Rescue Plan Act.
Well, we got a big surprise the other day from Governor Pritzker and his OMB, his Office of Management and Budget team. Surprise! They're saying they're going to have a $3 billion deficit next year, a $4 billion plus deficit the following year, and then $5 billion deficits the 3 years after that. And it was quite shocking to me for a governor that's been very emphatic about the job he's done at the state level, on the balanced budgets, on the improvement in credit ratings, to where we today have an economy that's, let's say, much more functional than it was during COVID. The bottom line is Governor Pritzker took, and of course the legislature took, all that COVID windfall tax revenues, and they've just shoved it into programmatic spending, and it won't stop now. This is just, again, and people hear it all the time, it's just more of the same, where the budget spending keeps going up and up and up, and taxpayers are forced to pay more and more and more. We've seen it through property taxes, we've seen it through all kinds of taxes and fees, and you can see the outmigration as a result of that. At least contributes to that. What I do think the big takeaway I think will be is that Governor Pritzker will say, look, we need to spend $63 billion. He's going to say that, and either we raise taxes to do it. We're $5 billion short in those last 3 years, $5 billion short a year, or we're going to have to do massive cuts. And he's going to threaten about the cuts, like we always hear. We're going to have to cut education. We have to cut football and band and music. We'll hear stuff like that, and it's going to hurt people. But I think the real story is that we keep hurting people with these tax hikes and service cuts that we've seen already. So I think it's just going to be a big warning, like we saw before. We saw that when the progressive tax failed. He warned that he's going to have to slash things, and COVID came along and changed that whole dynamic. But here we are. What's interesting about this whole thing is we were having these crises 2019. We're back to them a few years later because all the COVID windfall revenues are gone.